right, welcome back to Emotional Gravy Studios. Today we are doing another fan casting. We're going to be going over the Justice League this time. So, Darwin, let's hop right into it. Do we want to start with Superman?
Yeah, we can start. This was probably the hardest one, Superman.
Yeah.
Man, who do you have?
Okay. So I've got two picks for Superman. The first pick is Taron Egerton.
Mm-hmm.
He's 33 years old. He's about average height.
Yeah.
But he was in The Dark Crystal.
Mm-hmm.
He was the main character in that. He was also in Rocket Man, of course. But the thing with him, I don't think he'd necessarily want to lock into a 10-year contract. To me, it seems like he'd rather do some of those like standalone films.
Mm-hmm. And he's also like, I think we talked about this at one point. Like, there's all like Glenn Powell is like the new Idris Elba, where everyone's like, oh yeah, Glenn Powell should be Green Lantern. He should be Booster Gold. Taron Egerton is also in that same boat because everyone's like, he should be Wolverine. He should be James Bond. But
he could be a lot of things, but I don't think he would commit himself to a franchise. Mm-hmm. He just doesn't seem that kind of actor to me.
At least I think he'll only sign on if it's like set in stone, because I think like with the Dark Crystal he was I think we were all burned by that show being canceled, but like you watch the behind the scenes stuff and he was so passionate about it, and then they canceled it. And I think also he's been rumored to be so many that I wonder if he's gonna like pick and choose and which one he seems is more concrete.
Yeah. It'd be hard to do any character justice because you'd want to see him as so many different characters.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So the pick that I would go with is David Corenswet. He's 29 years old, 6'4". He's built. He was in Hollywood on Netflix recently, and he told Entertainment Weekly in 2019 that, and this is quotes here, "My pie-in-the-sky ambition is definitely to play Superman. I would love to see somebody do an upbeat, throwback version of Superman.
Yeah.
I love the Henry Cavill dark and gritty take, but I would love to see the next one be very bright and optimistic."
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing
sign
for him.
That's another one that's been popping up everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So for these like fan casts, I try not to look like I try not to get on Google and look at like Screen Rant of like top 10 actors or whatever. But like that's one that I've been hearing since Henry Cavill was, to quote James Gunn, not hired to do Superman Legacy. Mm-hmm. And also I haven't seen him in anything, so I didn't want to put him down. But he looks like Superman.
He does, yeah.
But he also looks distinctly different from Henry Cavill, which is weird because he looks like Superman too. Mm-hmm. And another weird thing that was really hard to do for this casting is that James Gunn has said that he wants Superman to be like 25 through 35 to do like a quote unquote younger Superman, which for a while it was like everyone's like, oh, they're gonna pick someone in his 20s, but I really think that because of the weird age discrepancies, I think they're gonna age him up to like the 30 through 35 range, because another thing that James Gunn says that Batman is gonna have Damian Wayne, which means Batman's gonna be like late 30s, maybe 40, and so we also just got done with an older Batman and a younger Superman, and there's a weird age discrepancy there. So I think they're definitely going to go with a Superman that's in his 30s.
Yeah.
But I've just from the pictures I've seen of David Corenswet, he looks like Superman. I could definitely see that happening, especially if he said that he wants to do it.
Yeah.
But I'd say this is one like the hardest one to do. But yeah, so who I have is Richard Madden, but the only problem, well, he was on Game of Thrones, he played Robb Stark, but he was also in Eternals, and he played like he was like the Superman Eternal guy, which if he's already in Eternals in Marvel, I didn't finish Eternals, I don't know what happens, but if he's already in a contract with Marvel, I don't know how realistic it is that he's going to jump over to play Superman.
Right. Yeah.
Also, he's 36. And by the time like the movie will come out, he'll be like 37, 38, and then that's like the same age Henry Cavill is now. So it's like, we just did not hire someone who was in his same age range. I think he could really pull off Superman, but I feel like it wouldn't be the upbeat Superman that we really want. He'd probably just be like a Henry Cavill, another version of the Henry Cavill Superman.
Yeah.
This is such a cop-out. But I was talking to Gavin, and I was like, Gavin, I wish you could play Superman. And I know it's a cop-out to be like, yeah, I want my friend Gavin to play. But, like, I was talking with him, and I was like, man, I think the next Superman we get shouldn't be, like, a ripped Superman. It should be, like, a strongman Superman, like a Superman birthright.
Mm-hmm.
And that's such a cop-out. But also Gavin is tall. He has blue eyes and dark hair. So shout out to Gavin. He's going to be my super... No, I'm joking. But... Yeah, this is literally the hardest one. This whole fan casting was kind of challenging, but Superman is the hardest to do, I think, because there's something like there's like a special like vibe that you have to have as Superman that not every actor can pull off. So this one was definitely really hard.
Yeah,
but
I haven't seen David Cornsweet in anything, but just the fact that he said that he's up to play Superman. And he wants to play an upbeat and bright version of Superman. Yeah. That gives me a lot of faith in him. So I think that would be the Superman that I'd be looking for.
Yeah. And also, like, it'd be kind of like a Tom Holland thing because Tom Holland really, and Andrew Garfield too, really wanted to play Spider-Man, and they both gave really great performances. So, I mean, that'd be really interesting to see.
Yeah.
But you ready for the next one? Who we're going to do next?
Next, we've got Batman.
I would just say this was actually the easiest one for me.
Really?
I think there's a lot more actors that can play Batman than there are that could play Superman.
Yeah.
And do you want to go first?
Sure. So I got 2 picks for this as well. My first pick is Miles Teller.
Yeah.
He's 36 years old. I think he could totally play dark and broody. And I think he could honestly look the part really well. But and he's kind of in that age range too, where he's almost 40, but he's not quite. So he could, it'd be believable that he would have a kid. But I think I would rather see Alden Ehrenreich or Heinrich or however you pronounce his name. He's 33, so he's a little bit younger. But I think he's got the perfect chin for the mask.
Yeah, that's another important factor, especially for Batman, is how the jawline.
Yeah,
how it's gonna look with the mask on.
He's got the perfect chin for the mask, and I think he did decent in Solo.
Yeah.
But I think he's far more capable than what we saw in Solo.
Yeah. You know what's weird? Both of your choices, I think I'd rather see them as Green Lantern.
Really?
Yeah. Because actually, I had Alden Ehrenreich down for one of my Green Lantern picks.
Yeah.
Because I think he has the jawline. I think he'd pull off like a cocky fighter pilot. But also Miles Teller was just in Top Gun, and I didn't want to put him down for Green Lantern. But yeah, I could see Alden Ehrenreich more so as Batman than Miles Teller. But the jawline thing, that shit is important for Batman.
Big time facts.
Yeah. Like I said, this was the easiest for me. But because I had so many picks, I had to like really narrow it down. And who I would really want is Theo James. He played 4 in Divergent.
Okay,
He's been in other stuff. He's 38, so he can be that older Batman. Also, he has the jawline. He can play suave. He can also play brooding. Also, his voice. He has like a very like deep timbre voice. Be really good. I can definitely see him as Batman in the bat suit. I don't think this is going to happen, but Aaron Taylor Johnson, I think he would be really good. He's 32, but also there's been a lot of rumors that he's going to play James Bond. He's also going to be in the Craven movie, which that movie is probably going to bomb. So I could also see Aaron Taylor Johnson as like Superman maybe, but I was like, I watched Bullet Train, and I was like, I kind of like, I saw him like punching the window, and also he wears a suit in that movie. I'm like, he's more Batman vibe than Superman, so I could also see that. But Theo James is who I would really want as Batman.
I didn't think about him. Like I haven't seen him act in anything. I don't think.
Yeah.
But I know who he is, and He's definitely got the jawline for it.
Also, I think he'd be really good Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Like
I could totally see that.
Yeah, definitely like a playboy Bruce Wayne, which I think they should play up, especially to contrast it with Robert Pattinson, who's not playboy, suave Bruce Wayne. I think Theo James could really pull that off.
Yeah.
But
that's a good pick. That's a really good pick.
Also, my choice for James Bond, besides John Boyega.
Yes.
Because I have to mention John Boyega in every video too. But
we'll talk about him later on.
I bet we will. Anywho, who is next? Who want to do next?
Okay, next on my list is Wonder Woman.
Oh, this was the second hardest one, I think.
This was the hardest one for me, honestly. I struggled a lot with this pick. This was the last pick that I had figured out.
Yeah. What I think was really hard about this, I have a bone to pick with Gal Gadot. I don't think she does Wonder Woman very well. But also with Wonder Woman, there are so many different versions of Wonder Woman you can do.
Right.
And each actress that I was thinking of would play a very different Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm. And I think you have to... So, I mean, it's like a given that you have to do Superman, you have to do Batman, right? But we haven't had a really great Wonder Woman yet, and I feel like to really make her stand out in these movies, you have to nail the casting.
Right.
And also, I think it was announced yesterday or sometime over the weekend, but James Gunn is going to start working on a Wonder Woman cartoon. So I'm pretty hyped for that. But Nathan, who do you have?
Okay, so this is a pretty off the wall pick right here, but I have, and I'm gonna butcher this name, but it's Melisandre Mahout or something like that. Yeah. She's 34 years old. She's actually Greek, which I think would be really cool to see somebody who's actually Greek play as Wonder Woman.
What's she in?
She's in Eurovision. She's also been in The Sandman, and she voiced and did motion capture for Cassandra in Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah.
Which most anybody who plays that game would agree that she was the better acted lead character to play as by a long shot. So
yeah, and if she's done voice acting, and because James Gunn wants all the actors to be the same across cartoons and live action,
it'd be perfect for that cartoon.
So that'd be great.
Yeah.
Did you have a second pick of who you'd want?
No, I had a few other people in mind to play, but the more I think about it, I don't think they would really be able to nail the role.
Yeah. This one, at first I was like, this is really hard, and this one was really difficult. I think besides Superman, this one was really hard, but some of them I was like, no, I don't see it. I made a little bit of a list, but I was watching The Orville this weekend, which is basically like parody Star Trek, but like not parody type thing. And there's this actress on there, Adrienne Palicki.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, she would be a really good Wonder Woman. But then I looked it up, and she played Wonder Woman for an unaired TV pilot for a TV show. I was like, dude, I was like, she would do really good. She could play like a really a more stoic, regal version of Wonder Woman, but she's 39, and Gal Gadot is 37, and I'm like, if they're gonna recast, they're gonna cast someone younger. Like they're gonna want someone who's younger and who's gonna want to do it for a long time. Which Adrienne Palicki is actually my top choice, but I don't think they're gonna do that. So my other choice was I think her name is Adria or Johnny. She was in Andor. I only watched the first episode of Andor, and
she was Bex or something.
And so I saw, because this is one of the ones that I looked up. I was like, because I had Adrienne Palicki, I had Alexandra Daddario. I watched Maze Runner over the weekend. The girl who's in there.
Yeah,
I was like, she could be Wonder Woman maybe, like, and she's also young enough. I was like, okay, like that could work. But I also got desperate. I just typed in who could play Wonder Woman, and she popped up. I was like, you know what? Throw her in. She's hot right now because of Andor. Why not? But
yeah, I think she could. I think she could do well.
Yeah, but for Adrienne Palicki was who I would really want though, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But
all right. Well, next we have The Flash.
Man.
So for the Flash, my pick is Dylan O'Brien.
Mm-hmm.
He's 31 years old. He was in Maze Runner and a few other movies pretty recently. I think he's in, is it a TV show? Is it
Teen Wolf?
Teen Wolf, yeah, that's it. But I think he can have that same kind of like young energy that you'd look for in Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
But he could also easily play more seriously if you wanted him to.
Yeah. He's also not a criminal.
Yeah.
So
that's a big
one.
plus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Actually, I had him down, and then I thought of the girl, and then I was watching Maze Runner, and then the girl popped up. I was like, man, maybe she can play Wonder Woman. But then I'm like, they're around the same age, and I feel like they're going to want to go with someone, like, they want Flash to be the young guy on the team.
Right.
And, but I could definitely see Dylan O'Brien. There for a little bit, like, a rumor came out that, like, oh, Warner Bros. Is considering, casting Dylan O'Brien to replace Ezra Miller. I was like, I'm on board with that. I'm like, they've been throwing his name around forever for the Flash, for Nightwing.
Yeah.
There for a little bit, Spider-Man. I'm like, you know what? Just throw him a bone.
Yeah.
Put him in a movie already. But yeah, I think he could do really good.
So who do you have for the Flash?
This one was kind of difficult because with the Flash you could do so many things. I was like, maybe they should just do Wally West and differentiate from Ezra Miller, Barry Allen. But I feel like they're not going to do that. And I have this problem with the way that Barry Allen has been characterized in recent stuff. Like in the Flash show, it's like it kind of felt like they wanted to make him like dorky Peter Parker-ish. And Barry Allen in the comic books, like he's kind of like a jock scientist. Like he's not going to watch Star Wars, you know. But I think, and like Ezra Miller just was full on like antisocial weirdo in the Snyder Cut and in the Joss Whedon cut of Justice League. And I'm like, I think they should steer away from that. Maybe someone who can be more of like jock, cocky Barry Allen. And I put Alan Fitz-Allen. He's from the TV show The Society on Netflix. He's 26, so definitely could play younger if he wanted to. I think he would be really good. I also put Griffin Cluck. Do you remember the Tall Girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays the boy with the crane. I'm like, if they want to do dorky Barry Allen or dorky Wally West, I'm like, he would be really funny.
Oh,
like,
goodness.
Put him in the gym and then put him in the suit. I'm like, okay, there you go. He's also 22.
Yeah.
You can do this for a long time, And also, like, the Tall Girl sucks. But he's easily like the most charming person in there.
Yeah.
And if they wanted to have someone who's like charming Flash, who can win over the audience and be like, all right, like we have like a really nice Flash now, he could do it.
I could totally see that, honestly. Yeah.
I was like, if they're gonna keep making Barry Allen a dork, I'm like, let's get a lovable dork. Let's not get a weirdo dork. Because Ezra Miller played a very weirdo dork, and then Grant Gustin played I just don't believe that he's a dork. I'm just like, no, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you just seem like a theater kid to me because of Glee. I'm like, no, man. Like, I don't buy it. But like with Griffin Gluck, you believe that kid is a dork.
Right.
He's like a lovable dork. I'm like, throw him in the suit. Why not? But yeah. Okay, who is next?
Next we got Aquaman.
This one was kind of, I feel like there's a lot of really good options.
Yeah.
But yeah, who do you have?
So my pick for this is John Boyega.
Really?
Yeah. 30 years old, so he's right in the range that we want. He's got great charisma. He's got great chemistry with anybody.
Yeah.
And plenty of range. Just one of our favorites, like you said
we
before. We have to
him.
mention John Boyega. So I think I could totally see him playing Aquaman.
Yeah.
Maybe get him a little bit bigger. He's already pretty decent as like the way he is right now, but just give him a little bit more beef, and I think he could play the role really well.
I could see for my Aquaman, so Jason Momoa has grown on me as Aquaman, but he is not accurate to the comics or anything, because he's like more of like that kind of Aquaman who play electric guitar, but Aquaman is like the leader of Atlantis. He is a king, and Jason Momoa just feels like a cool guy you'd want to hang out with.
Right.
And So that definitely influenced my casting, because in the Justice League cartoon, he is like all business, and I really prefer that version. And so this one was really hard, because at first my top choice was Sam Heughan, and he's from Outlander, which every like mom knows about. He plays like the main. He plays it's like Outlander is this historical fiction, and Sam Heughan, he plays like the love interest guy. He's tall. He's got curly red hair, but he's 42. And I'm like, I feel like they're not going to go with someone who's in their 40s for this.
Yeah.
I also thought of Sam Claflin from Finnick from Hunger Games. I'm like, he would be really good.
He would.
Maybe I'm just saying that because he's blonde. He threw a trident around in Hunger Games. But I feel like there's also someone else that Sam Claflin could play really well, because he also played a villain in Peaky Blinders.
He's also a little bit on the older side too.
Yeah, he's 36, but then I thought of, or actually I was like Alexander Ludwig. He's from Vikings.
Okay, yeah.
I think he's 30 years old. Also tall, blonde hair, blue-eyed, which would be classic Aquaman. He could also play a savage leader type Aquaman, who I think would be really cool. Also in that show, he has a beard and long hair, which is like the Aquaman from the Justice League cartoon type look. Chop off his arm, put a fish hook there. I'm like, that's Aquaman. I was like, which I guarantee you, in Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom, Jason Momoa will get his arm cut off and they'll replace it with a fish hook. I'm like, I can feel it. I haven't seen the movie. The movie hasn't come out yet, but I'm like, that's totally gonna happen. But
you heard it here, folks.
Yeah, I'm predicting it. I also predicted some stuff in Creed 3, so I'm on a roll. Anywho, that's who I would have as Aquaman. He's younger. He looks like him. He can play savage leader Aquaman.
That's a good pick. Yeah.
But yeah, next is Green Lantern.
Green Lantern.
Cool.
Yep.
Who did you go with?
Okay, so you're probably not going to like this pick, but I'm picking Glenn Powell again.
Yeah, see, I brought him down too. Because Top Gun Maverick is just an audition tape for Hal Jordan.
Yeah, exactly.
It
really is. He's used to playing pilot characters, because he was also in Devotion with Jonathan Majors. I talked about this in the Fantastic Four fan casting.
Yeah.
He's got great charisma. He's the embodiment of Hal Jordan.
Oh, he really is. Like, I was watching Justice League War, just one of the not live action, it's one of the cartoon Justice League movies, and I was watching with Alia, and there's this like scene where he's talking to Batman, and I'm like, I just envisioned Glenn Powell with the mask on. I'm like, and he said a lot. Because I think it's Nathan Fillion voices Green Lantern in that movie, and the way he delivered a line, I'm like, that's freaking Glenn Powell. I'm like, oh my gosh. And which I wrote him down because obvious reasons, but I think if they're gonna put Green Lantern in the movies, I think they should do John Stewart Green Lantern, and for that I put John David Washington, Denzel Washington's son. I think he was in Tenet. He was in Malcolm and Marie. He's a really good actor. He's 38, which I think you can make John Stewart a little bit older than some of the rest of the crew. But I think he would just knock it out of the park. I did put Glenn Powell down, and I put Alden Ehrenreich down because they both just give off Hal Jordan energy. I think Green Lantern's a pretty easy casting because there are so many. I was just thinking like Glenn Powell, Miles Teller. I was like Alden Ehrenreich. I was like, the list goes on and on and on.
You could have limitless options for him.
And none of them are wrong answers too.
Yeah, all of them could do really well.
Yeah. Okay. Is that it? Or are we going to do...
There's one more on our list.
Yeah.
And they might be different. So the character that I have down is Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
Is that who you have?
I put Hawk Girl down, but but I also had an idea for Martian Manhunter.
Okay. So my idea for Martian Manhunter is Abubakar Salim. He's 30 years old. He was in Assassin's Creed Origins, Raised by Wolves, Legends of Vox Machina. He's a voice actor mainly, but he's done live action stuff before.
Yeah.
I think he looks the part, and with his voice acting skills, I think he could easily pull off the whole alien vibe.
Yeah.
So That's my pick for Martian Manhunter.
If they put Martian Manhunter in live action, do you think they should make him CGI or practical? Because in the Snyder Cut, they made him CGI, and it did look kind of funky. I think it's Supergirl they made him CGI, too.
Yeah, I would much rather it be practical.
Yeah.
But I'm just a practical guy, so.
Yeah. I put Martian Manhunter down. Actually, I put him and Hawkgirl just in case. But I put Peter Macon down as Martian Manhunter. He was in that Orville show, which he plays an alien, and he has full prosthetic on. I was like, so if they were going to cast him, they just put the makeup on and then CGI if they need him to fly or anything. And also, he's been in comedies. He's done a lot of drama stuff. Also, he has the voice. But I also put Hawkgirl down because I really want her to be in these movies. Because Hawkman was in Black Adam, and he was really good. At first I put Naomi Scott, because I was like, I could see it. I could see it happening. But I also put Sophia Botella, and she was in Star Trek Beyond, and she's been in a couple other things. But I thought, I think the actor who played Hawkman was something Hedges, Ethan, I don't remember. But he was really good. I'm like, I bet they'd have really good chemistry. But I also think Hawkgirl, I really want her to be in this stuff. Also, I casted Jon Stewart Green Lantern. They have kind of like a weird romance thing.
Yeah.
Like I was talking about in my DC plan. But, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's our fan casting for the Justice League. So, Darwin, you want to wrap this up?
Yeah. Go follow us on Instagram at Emotional Gravy Studios. Go follow us on TikTok at Emotional Gravy Studios. Like, comment, subscribe. Go listen to Past the Gravy Podcast on Spotify.
Yep.
Go talk to James Gunn and have him hire us. Yeah, I think that's it.
All right. Well, we'll call it a wrap.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.